Deep within the heart of the ominous dark forest, where twisted branches intertwined like the gnarled fingers of ghostly apparitions, there lived an air of palpable dread. No sunlight ever breached the dense canopy, leaving the forest shrouded in perpetual twilight. The locals spoke of ancient curses, vengeful spirits, and the echoes of tormented souls that wandered the shadows. It was in this foreboding expanse that Lauren, a young and adventurous photographer, found herself drawn. Intrigued by the tales that surrounded the dark forest, she embarked on a journey to capture its haunting beauty through her lens. The locals warned her with solemn expressions, urging her to turn back, but Lauren was undeterred by superstitions. As she delved deeper into the forest, the air grew thick with an unsettling stillness. The usual sounds of nature were absent, replaced by an eerie silence that seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy. The twisted trees whispered secrets only the bravest dared to hear, and Lauren pressed on, driven by a mysterious force that seemed to pull her deeper into the heart of the gloom. The first signs of unease manifested when she stumbled upon a clearing adorned with weathered tombstones, each engraved with names lost to time. Lauren's camera clicked as she documented the desolation, unaware that the shadows surrounding her were watching, waiting. Night fell quickly, as if the forest itself swallowed the daylight. Lauren set up camp, her flashlight casting feeble beams that flickered through the dense fog. The darkness seemed to come alive with unseen movements, and she heard rustlings that sent shivers down her spine. Ignoring the whispers of doubt, she drifted into an uneasy sleep, unaware that her presence had awakened something dormant in the heart of the dark forest. The next morning, Lauren awoke to an unsettling silence. The usual symphony of nature was replaced by an oppressive hush that made her uneasy. Determined to capture the essence of the dark forest, she continued her journey, guided only by the flickering light of her flashlight. As she ventured deeper, the trees seemed to close in, their gnarled branches forming an impenetrable barrier. Lauren's camera snapped pictures of the foreboding landscape, capturing the twisted beauty that concealed a darker truth. The forest seemed to be alive with whispers, indiscernible murmurs that echoed with sorrow and despair. Days turned into nights, and Lauren's once vibrant spirit began to wane. The shadows played tricks on her, morphing into sinister shapes that danced at the periphery of her vision. Unseen eyes followed her every move, and she could feel the weight of 1,000 stares pressing upon her. One fateful night, as Lauren navigated a particularly dense thicket, she stumbled upon an ancient ruin, hidden beneath layers of foliage. Intricate carvings adorned the dilapidated structure, depicting scenes of agony and torment. A chill ran down her spine as she deciphered the stories etched in stone. Tales of lost souls condemned to wander the dark forest for eternity. A distant moan echoed through the trees, and Lauren felt a sudden, overwhelming sense of dread. The forest seemed to come alive with anguished cries, and she realized she was not alone. Shadows emerged from the darkness, the visages of tormented spirits taking form around her. Desperation gripped her heart as she realized the true nature of the forest, a realm where the line between the living and the dead blurred. With a growing sense of urgency, Lauren retraced her steps, pursued by the phantoms that hungered for release. The forest itself seemed to conspire against her, the twisted trees contorting to block her path. Each step became a struggle, the whispers of the lost souls urging her to join them in their eternal torment. In the heart of the dark forest, Lauren stood at the precipice of an abyss, caught between the living and the dead. The shadows converged, and the air pulsated with an otherworldly energy. With a final, desperate plea, she sought to break free from the clutches of the haunted woods, unsure if her cries reached the ears of the living or the departed. Lauren, gasping for breath, stumbled through the oppressive darkness, pursued by the spectral figures that hungered for release. The forest seemed to conspire against her, its malevolent energy twisting reality itself. Shadows clung to her like ethereal tendrils, threatening to pull her into the abyss that lay between the worlds. With every step, the whispers grew louder, a cacophony of voices pleading for salvation. The air became dense with the sorrow of the lost souls, their collective anguish manifesting as a palpable force that pressed upon Lauren. She could feel the veil between the living and the dead thinning, a fragile boundary that threatened to shatter. As she reached the edge of the forest, Lauren saw a dim light flickering in the distance. Hope surged within her as she sprinted toward the beacon, the phantoms trailing behind like wraiths in pursuit. The clearing revealed an ancient altar, bathed in an otherworldly glow. Symbols etched into the stone pulsed with an ethereal energy, resonating with the tortured souls that haunted the forest. Lauren, guided by an instinct she couldn't comprehend, approached the altar. The whispers reached a crescendo, merging into a haunting melody that reverberated through the clearing. With trembling hands, she traced the symbols, her touch resonating with the ancient magic that lingered in the air. The very fabric of the forest seemed to shudder, caught between the forces of salvation and eternal damnation. In the midst of the spectral onslaught, Lauren's mind was flooded with images, fragments of the lost souls' stories, their pain, and their unfulfilled desires. She realized that the forest itself was a purgatory, a realm where the tormented spirits sought redemption. With newfound clarity, she understood that her presence was the catalyst for the ancient ritual that could either set the souls free or condemn them to an eternity of suffering. Summoning the courage she never knew she possessed, Lauren spoke words that resonated with the ancient incantations inscribed on the altar. The air crackled with energy as the forest responded to her voice, the boundary between worlds teetering on the edge of collapse. The phantoms, once hostile, now gazed at her with pleading eyes, their ethereal forms flickering in and out of existence. As the final words left Lauren's lips, the altar erupted in blinding light. The veil between worlds trembled, then slowly began to mend. The lost souls, released from their spectral shackles, ascended in a spectral procession, their anguished cries transforming into whispers of gratitude. The forest, once suffocating, now exhaled a sigh of relief. Lauren, drained and breathless, stood in the clearing as the last echoes of the ritual subsided. The dark forest, no longer a realm of malevolence, regained a sense of quiet tranquility. The twisted trees, once contorted with malice, now stood sentinel like ancient guardians. In the aftermath, as dawn broke over the horizon, Lauren emerged from the forest, forever changed by her harrowing experience. The locals, who had watched from the outskirts with bated breath, could hardly believe their eyes. The tales of the dark forest, once steeped in dread, transformed into a story of redemption and liberation. Yet, as Lauren walked away, a subtle whisper lingered in the wind, a reminder that the veil between worlds was thin, and the dark forest held secrets that transcended the boundaries of the living and the dead. The dark forest stood at the edge of the small town of Ravenswood, a place shrouded in mystery and whispered tales of the supernatural. Colin, a curious and adventurous soul, had always been drawn to the eerie allure of the forest. One gloomy evening, with the moon casting an ethereal glow upon the trees, he decided to venture into the heart of the dark forest. As Colin entered the dense thicket, a chilling wind rustled the leaves, creating an unsettling symphony. The silence was broken only by the distant hoots of owls and the crackling of twigs beneath his feet. Unfazed, Colin pressed on, guided by the pale light of his lantern. The deeper he delved into the forest, the more he felt an ominous presence. Strange shadows danced among the trees, and an invisible weight hung in the air. Colin's heart pounded, but he couldn't shake the thrill of the unknown. His path led him to a clearing surrounded by ancient pines that seemed to whisper secrets in an ancient tongue. Suddenly, Colin heard footsteps behind him, quickening his pace. He turned to find no one, only the dark, foreboding trees. As he scanned the surroundings, a haunting melody filled the air, chilling him to the bone. The whispers grew louder, weaving tales of lost souls and the price paid for trespassing into the domain of the forest. In the midst of the spectral symphony, Colin glimpsed a shadowy figure in the distance. Desperate to unravel the mysteries of the dark forest, he followed the silhouette, his lantern flickering with each step. The figure led him deeper into the heart of the woods, where the trees seemed to close in on him like silent sentinels. As the whispering pines intensified, Colin stumbled upon an ancient, dilapidated mansion hidden within the trees. Its windows were shattered, and the roof sagged under the weight of time. The figure disappeared into the darkness of the mansion, leaving Colin torn between his curiosity and a growing sense of dread. Colin, fueled by a mixture of curiosity and trepidation, took a deep breath and stepped across the creaking threshold of the ancient mansion. The air inside was thick with the scent of decay, and the darkness seemed to envelop him like a shroud. His lantern struggled against the oppressive gloom, casting long, eerie shadows on the peeling wallpaper. As he explored the desolate rooms, Colin stumbled upon dusty, forgotten furniture covered in white sheets. The mansion echoed with the whispers that seemed to seep from the very walls. The air was charged with an otherworldly energy, and the temperature dropped with each passing moment. In a dimly lit corridor, Colin heard a soft sobbing, and his heart skipped a beat. Following the haunting sound, he found a door slightly ajar. Hesitant but determined, he pushed it open to reveal a room frozen in time. A dilapidated crib sat in the corner, surrounded by faded toys and tattered children's books. The sobbing intensified, drawing Colin towards a ghostly figure huddled in the shadows. It was a spectral child, pale and translucent, her eyes filled with sorrow. She whispered in a voice that sent shivers down his spine, telling a tale of a tragic past and an unfulfilled promise. As Colin listened, the room transformed before his eyes. The walls seemed to bleed with the memories of a family torn apart, and the temperature plummeted as if the icy grip of the past had tightened its hold. The child implored him to help, her ethereal hand reaching out in desperation. Haunted by the tragic tale, Colin vowed to uncover the truth and bring peace to the tormented spirits lingering within the mansion. The whispers guided him through hidden passages and forgotten chambers, revealing a story of betrayal, loss, and a curse that bound the souls to the dark forest. In the heart of the mansion, Colin discovered a forgotten journal that detailed the events leading to the family's demise. As he read the pages, a malevolent force stirred, and the temperature dropped to an unbearable low. The shadows in the room seemed to dance with a sinister glee. Realization struck Colin. The curse had lured him into its web, using his empathy as a conduit to free the vengeful spirits trapped within the mansion. The forest outside echoed with the haunting whispers, as if celebrating his unwitting role in unraveling the curse. Colin, fueled by a sense of responsibility, resolved to break the curse and bring peace to the tormented souls. Armed with the knowledge from the journal, he retraced his steps through the mansion, guided by the whispers that now seemed eager to see the curse undone. As he entered the decrepit family crypt beneath the mansion, the air grew colder and the whispers reached a crescendo. In the dim light of his flickering lantern, Colin discovered a hidden chamber containing a mysterious artifact, an ancient amulet that radiated with an otherworldly energy. With trepidation, Colin grasped the amulet, feeling an immediate connection to the spirits within the mansion. The whispers transformed into desperate pleas as the spectral figures surrounded him, their ethereal forms a testament to the pain endured over the years. Colin, empowered by a newfound determination, recited an incantation from the journal, channeling the energy through the amulet. The room trembled as the curse began to unravel, and the spirit's anguished wails gave way to a haunting, melancholic melody. In the final moments of the ritual, the mansion seemed to exhale a sigh of relief. The walls ceased bleeding memories, and the temperature returned to normal. The spectral child from before appeared, now bathed in a soft, golden light, her eyes expressing gratitude. As the last echoes of the ritual faded away, Colin found himself standing in the crypt, the amulet now dormant in his hands. The mansion, once suffused with malevolence, now felt serene. The forest outside, too, fell silent, as if acknowledging the breaking of the curse. Colin stepped out into the moonlit night, the dark forest now devoid of the foreboding presence that had hung in the air. The whispering pines, once filled with ominous tales, now swayed gently in the breeze, their secrets laid to rest with the lifted curse. The spectral child appeared one last time, smiling with gratitude before fading away, leaving behind a sense of closure. Colin, though weary, felt a profound satisfaction, having played a part in unraveling the dark tapestry that had ensnared the mansion and the forest. As he walked back through the now tranquil woods, the first light of dawn began to paint the horizon. The once daunting dark forest transformed into a place of quiet beauty, and Ravenswood, awakening from its slumber, remained blissfully unaware of the night's spectral drama.